Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Black Men Matter series on the male perspective. The podcast that's all about dispelling stereotypes and shining a light on the rich and varied experiences of Black men from all around the world. Each episode aims to broaden understanding and foster appreciation for their unique stories that often go unheard. Now, here is your host, Lana Reid, to introduce you to yet another remarkable Black man with an insightful perspective to share.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today, on this day, I have the pleasure of sitting down with a gentleman by the name of Archie Green. He is the founder of Peel Them Layers Back, a nonprofit that is using hip hop to promote mental health awareness. And I am looking forward to spending some time with him today, learning more about his nonprofit and the other projects that he has going on. But first and foremost, sir, as I always do, I take a quick moment to pause and say thank you to you for making time for me today. Time is a gift. Once we give it, we can't get it back. So I truly appreciate you setting aside this time in your day to chat with little old me. And with that, sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, Lana. Thank you for the invitation. I'm excited for the conversation.
Awesome. I'm excited to spend some time with you today.
And thank you for highlighting Black men. As one of our sisters, as one of I can say my aunties that's honoring us. Like, I appreciate that. I actually went to a healing circle yesterday that a Black woman led for Black men. So I feel
awesome.
Like, man, I'm getting.
We trying to uplift y'all. We doing our best. You guys are awesome, and I think you guys need to hear that more. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, let me get going because I got a little bit of time with you today, and I want to get a whole bunch of stuff in here with our time together today. I want to start off with your nonprofit, Peel Them Layers Back. I read that it came to be out of some of your personal journey. So I was wondering, as we open up, could you share how is it that we have this wonderful nonprofit called Peel Them Layers Back in this world? And what is the mission of it?
Sure. So the origins of Peel Them Layers Back is from my own lived experience, living with depression, living with anxiety. So back in 2013, I got a DUI. And while I was in my holding cell waiting for my parents to bail me out, I would say either the Holy Spirit or the universe, but also myself, my inner self came to me and said, first of all, to stop crying because I was crying my eyes out. And then the second thing that it said to me was they can trap your body, but they can never trap your mind. And I didn't know that that was a prophetic statement that would lead me to what I'm doing today. So after I got my DUI, my license was suspended for a year. I entered the lowest and most depressive state that I've experienced in my life. And my family, my friends could tell things weren't normal. I wasn't my normal self. And a friend and fraternity brother of mine, who was also a psychologist, asked me if I'd ever considered therapy. And I had thought about it, but I had never actually decided to do it because at that time, it was like, well, therapy, that's for the crazy folk. That's for white folks. That ain't for us. And so because of that, I was out of sight, out of mind. But once Black man that looked like me, that was like me, was a frat brother, was a Morehouse brother, was saying, like, have you ever considered therapy? I instantly was like, let's do it. Let's try it out. And I was clinically diagnosed with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. And over the next few years, I was able to literally peel back the layers of the shell that I had become from the coping mechanisms and everything that I learned. Now, I also am the hip hop artist, and as any artist would, I channeled my pain into my art. I wrote a song. The song was called Layers. And in the chorus or the hook of that song, I said, Peel Them Layers Back. The song went viral and really inspired me. Like, man, like people, this was 2016. So people at the time in the Black community weren't really talking about mental health like that. But it showed me that, wow, this is something that's important. Around that same time, Kid Cudi, another popular hip hop artist from Cleveland, had put out an open letter saying he was going to rehab for suicidal thoughts and ideations. And BBC News reached out to me the next day to speak about hip hop and mental health. So that's when I knew, like, okay, I want to create like a platform where we can promote mental health education specifically to the Black and Brown community. And that's how Pilgrim Layers Back was founded in November of 2016. So we'll be celebrating in about a month's time 9 years that we've been promoting mental health for Black men.
Awesome, awesome. Now, you have a unique combination with your nonprofit where you're combining hip hop to promote mental health. And outsiders looking in might not understand or see the connection. How do you feel hip hop benefits or connects or correlates with mental health?
It's a great question. So let's just take hip hop out of the equation for a second. Music, art is powerful and can evoke emotion from a creative expression, whether you're the one who created it or you're the one that's ingesting it. And I think it was like before I started my nonprofit, I had performed with this ensemble, this strings and classical instruments ensemble. And they were running their business as a nonprofit. And so that was what kind of gave me the idea to do the same thing. Like, wow, I can like use my art to actually get paid, because I was a starving artist at the time. But what I've found over the last 9 years that I've been doing this is it's magical, like the power of hip hop and how it really speaks to the emotion, the well-being, the anger, the frustration that we as Black men face. It literally, back in the day, I think it was Chuck D that said, hip hop is the CNN of the streets. We're literally telling you what is going on in Black life, what is going on with me. And that is therapeutic to express the pain. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. That's therapeutic. And so what we found is in the programs that we do, especially in our Coke Dealer program, which we'll talk about a little bit later, there are young men who have never written a rap lyric or a poem or anything, but once they are given the opportunity to creatively express themselves, they bring out something they didn't even know was there. We have that ability to unlock this key of creativity in order to heal themselves. And that's something that they can use for the rest of their lives. I can't take any of the credit for that. That's nothing but hip hop and art, period.
Hip hop, and you mentioned that I'm an auntie, so I grew up on Rapper's Delight and all that stuff. So it is just truly, truly an experience, an emotional experience. So I was really touched to see the way you've managed to combine the two and the work that you're doing. So it's just awesome and amazing. Now you mentioned Coke Dealer. So let's go into talking about some of the programs, the initiatives that Pilgrim Layers has. And Coke Dealer is one of them. So kind of unpack what that is so that we know what goes on there with that one.
Sure. So the origins of Coke Dealer was around the time I was working on my last album, which has the same title, Coke Dealer. I was probably 80% done with writing, recording the project. And I realized when I took an assessment of the songs that most of these songs speak to mental health for me as a Black male and anyone else. Depression, anxiety, grief, and also talking about how to improve the Black male relationship with the Black female and the queer community. I mean, addressing, issues of sexual abuse within the Black family. Like, there were all these things, as well as love and fatherhood and chasing your dreams and believing in yourself and having friends, all these things. And I had thought about like people like Nas, who, there's a there are courses at Harvard, discussing Illmatic. Kendrick Lamar has courses at universities. Ninth Wonder is a professor at a school. And I was like, man, this could be the foundation or the blueprint for an actual course. And so this was around the time of the pandemic. So everybody was at home, didn't have nothing to do anyway. So I was in my little home office and I came up with this course curriculum. It is a 14-week program where we have 4 different components. We have a creative expression aspect of it. We have a cognitive educational portion as well. We blend those together to teach young Black men and women how to, first of all, identify certain types of mental illness. So we have, for the cognitive educational side, we have a licensed professional, a Black licensed professional, to basically discuss the various types of mental illness, how to cope with that mental illness. And then we have, on the creative expression component, we have a teaching artist that teaches the principles of songwriting, of lyric writing, poetry, as well as music production, in order to give our participants the opportunity to express what they've learned creatively, or to express what type of pain they may be carrying in their everyday lives. And we primarily target students in the inner city. We also have brought the Cope Dealer program to juvenile correctional facilities in the state of Ohio. So these are primarily inmates that are on their way out. They're going to be leaving soon. So we're preparing them to be reintroduced to society, and we're equipping them with tools to live a mentally healthy life in real time. And what a cope dealer is someone who recognizes mental illness within themselves, but can also recognize and help someone else who may be suffering from mental illness. You can take what you have learned and you can share, hey, let me give you some hope. Not dealing dope, we're dealing, and that's how the cope dealer was found.
So you mentioned the program is in the juvenile justice system. So I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So does the Cope Dealer program assist them in giving peer support to their peers? Is that how it trains them to recognize?
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly.
Sure. So, for all intents and purposes, our sessions with the inmates in the juvenile correctional facility, especially on the cognitive educational side, they are kind of like support groups. So there's an opportunity for these young men to kind of bring to the conversation what they're dealing with, maybe what brought them there, and what they plan to do when they leave, and also to give them alternative solutions as opposed to retaliation or gun violence or steering them in the wrong direction. We give them the opportunity to choose something more positive. So it does somewhat function as a peer support group, because these are confidential conversations led by a licensed clinical therapist or social worker that gives them also puts their clinical hat on to express, hey, if someone in this group needs a little bit extra help, they can pull them to the side and actually offer some special help. And so yeah, it does somewhat function as a peer support group. And then the creative expression, that's like an opportunity. It's like art class. It's like an opportunity for them to just kind of whatever comes to them, right? And the cope dealers have come up with some really great music over the years.
I can only imagine. It's an area that unfortunately a lot of our young Black boys don't get to tap into. So to see that you're providing them for that, because I think it allows you to tap into your emotional regulation and your critical thinking skills. And, when you get out there into the real world, it helps you kind of make these better decisions for your life and possibly turn the car around. So
absolutely
awesome work. But let
Thank
me
you.
move on because I will end up taking up your whole day. And I want to make sure I get through all of this. The next program initiative that Peel Them Layers back is running is Holding Space. And I thought this was so beautiful. And I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but just let everybody know what this is about because this was wonderful. This was so wonderful.
Yes. Yes. So Holding Space is a support group. So that is specifically a support group for Black men. So these are primarily men 18 and up. And it is a series that we started probably around the same time as Coke Dealer. So this is probably 2021. My background, I worked for NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness in Greater Cleveland, and I was a support group leader. And while I was there, I started one of the first African American support groups at any NAMI across the country. And while I was there, what I saw was like for the most part, there were a lot of Black folk that had never been to a support group, didn't even know, like, am I supposed to talk? Like, am I supposed to just listen? Plus, it was the first time I'm seeing someone that looks like me that has depression. I'm seeing someone that looks like me that has anxiety. I'm seeing someone that looks like me that's neurodivergent. And so I feel like I'm not alone. And so with PDLB, I wanted to bring that same type of space for Black men. And so in 2021, our very first Holding Space program, we partnered with a company called Futurist Color, which is ran by a good friend of mine who lives in San Diego. We designed a t-shirt. We hired a chef to cook a 4-course meal, and we had conversation prompts that we had over dinner. We just talked about life as Black men, the good, the bad, the ugly, how to work through certain issues that we have had. And so we've done it since then once a year. We usually do about 5 or 6 sessions, and that's a full Holding Space program. So we welcome the same men to come in. We're talking about doing it online, so we can do it every month, where any Black male that is able can join us online. So stay tuned for that. But Holding Space is a program that I hold near and dear to my heart. I mean, I get as much out of it as some of the other guys that go.
Now, there's a myth that Black men don't like to talk. So when you're running these programs, do you find that it's like pulling teeth, or are the brothers really just receptive and start pouring out and opening up? Because there's, everybody's saying, oh, Black men don't talk.
Sure. I mean, you'd be surprised. Once one of us opens up, it like kind of gives the others permission. So sometimes, and this is something that I've learned just doing my advocacy work for the past 10 years almost. I have learned that me sharing my story totally breaks down the guardrails and any type of reluctance, because they see a Black male, especially like a rapper. They see a rapper talking about real emotions, real depression, and the fact that I have dealt with suicidal ideation in the past and all these things. And so then it's like, well, if he's dealing with that, then I can open up and I can share. And the beautiful thing about a support group is not only are you helping yourself by expressing what you've been carrying, but you're helping the brother or the sister right next to you who you don't even know is carrying the same weight. And it's, again, I can't take any of the credit. It's God's work. How many times I've been in support groups or I've spoken to youth. Like, I'll give you a quick example. This one time I did a workshop with these kids at a private school in the suburbs with only a few Black kids there. And I told my story about my depression, about my DUI, going to therapy, everything. And one of the students raised their hand and said, I am finally willing to admit I've been carrying the weight of a friend who died by suicide. I've been carrying this for months since my friend passed away. Do you know that after that event was over, teachers came to me. We have been trying to get him to open up for months, and you're the first one to get him to open up. So there's a lot of power in and sharing whatever it is that you got going on, because we all got something going on.
There you go. We've all been going through something. And, I think that is something that historically the Black community has struggled with in the process of carrying our weight is we've always felt the need to be silent about it. And that's just compounded, passed on the generational trauma. So to be in this place that we're in now in 2025, where more of us are open to unpacking a lot of the mental baggage that we've been carrying around, and especially to see, like you mentioned, the story where a young person can be impacted. Where here's a man that looks like me, and he's sharing his mental health journey. I'm not supposed to carry this silently. Right. So I mean, it's just so powerful. So the cusp of change that we're on right now is just so amazing, so amazing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The next program you have going on is My Violin Weighs a Ton. So cute. I like that name. Who is that program for, and what is it all about? We got violins. We got violins.
So My Violin Weighs a Ton is a program that was birthed in 2019. It is we haven't actually done another program since 2019, but we're in the process now of fundraising for the next program. But basically, and this was at the time, I'm based in LA now, but at the time I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, my hometown. And, any kid that grew up in Cleveland at some point has taken a field trip to Severance Hall. It's now known as Severance Music Center, and seen the Cleveland Orchestra play. And on one fateful night, I went with my wife and my parents, and pretty much everybody that greeted us, from the parking garage, elevator attendant, the people that worked the restaurant, concessions, they were all Black people. And then you look at the stage, and you look at the audience, and it's primarily white people.
There you go.
Now, the Cleveland Orchestra has said, they have a statement, I don't know if it's still there, but it's written on the wall once you enter Severance, that this is the people's orchestra. And I was like, well, this doesn't really reflect the people. Mm-hmm. And there was a part of me that was like, well, we gotta change this somehow. Yeah. I also was like inspired by Kanye West, who performed at Abbey Road Studios with an ensemble, and Jay-Z, who performed at Carnegie Hall with an orchestra, Nas, who performed at the Kennedy Center with an orchestra. So I was like, man, we really need something like that in Cleveland. An experience that's diverse, that welcomes diverse crowds, that brings a brand new genre into the space. And so that's when the idea was born. My violin weighs a ton is a play on words. Some people may know my Uzi weighs a ton. Some people may know my vinyl weighs a ton. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we were colliding hip hop and classical music, it just made sense. My violin weighs a ton. Just made the most sense. So we partnered with a local recreational and educational center called Lexington Bell Community Center. And through the assistance of grants from Cuyahoga Arts and Culture and fundraising that we did, we basically put together, it was like a 3.5-month program where we were working with the youth aged 4 to 14, Black babies, learning how to play classical guitar. I did songwriting workshops with them, taught them how to write their own version of Old Town Road, which was a popular song at that time. And then I, as a performing artist, I worked with an ensemble. My good friend Perry Wolfman was a music director, and we created this once in a lifetime, groundbreaking hip hop classical concert, the first ever to take place at then Severance Hall. It was a sold out crowd. It was an amazing, we actually shot a documentary, which you can find on YouTube. And as a result of the work that we did, the seed that we planted to open diversity into the space, as well as promoting mental health in the Black community, Severance decided to open doors for more diverse programming. Great. In the space. They changed their name from Severance Hall to Severance Music Center, like all these things that changed. And so last year, I think it was last year, we celebrated 5 years since the first My Violin. And the goal is to do it again next year and to actually bring in a Black orchestra. to perform, Black hip hop orchestra to perform in this space. So yeah, that's one of my most proud moments is doing that. Becoming the first MC to perform at Severance Hall was like incredible.
That is beautiful. Our babies get to. That's beautiful. That
Yeah.
is so beautiful. And we can see this video, the performance.
Yes, I can send you the link to share
Okay.
with the viewers. And but yeah, it is available online. You can watch the documentary.
That's beautiful. Well, you mentioned fundraising, and no nonprofit can survive and do the good work that it does without fundraising. And you're currently running a 100 by 100 challenge. So tell us what the challenge is about and how people can participate with that.
Sure. So the 100 by 100 campaign is basically just an opportunity to ask for support from our community. We are a nonprofit, and so a majority of our funding comes from grants. But at the same time, we can't just rely on grants to continue to function, to continue to do the programming that we are doing. And so I came up with this idea. If we got 100 people to donate $100 each, that's $10,000. And that can go a very long way with the work that we're doing. That can provide for a Coke dealer program that can get, because we don't charge schools. We don't charge for our program. That they're all funded through grants and fundraising. And so anyone that wants to support can go to our website, www.pdlb.org, to learn more about the campaign. We actually have started getting donations in. You do not have to donate $100. Anything.
I got five on it.
You got five on it. You got 500. If you want to do 500 instead of 100, we will accept whatever donation. The timeline is through November 1st. So we want to spend really the next month, all of October, raising as much money as we can. Because I had heard about, over the years, we've obviously heard about Giving Tuesday, which happens in November, but there's so many nonprofits that are asking for money on that day.
During those times,
So I felt like, you know what, let's try something new. Let's do our own thing. Let's do this 100 by 100 campaign. And if it goes well, then we'll do it every year. Be something that we do. So yeah, it's the 100 by 100 campaign. You can donate at our website, pdlb.org.
Okay, all right. Well, let me shift now to you personally, because you got some stuff going on that the world needs to go hear about. You are currently in the process of writing your memoir.
Yes.
So what is it, young man? How old are you, young man?
I'm 40.
Okay, 40. What is it in your 40 years of walking this earth, or maybe let me say 39, that you say now is the time for me to sit down and share with the world Archie's story?
Well, a couple things. I feel that God has called me to share my story with the world as a form of inspiration, motivation to any of the readers. I have lived an amazing life in the 39 years that I've been on this earth. Like the amount of people that I've met, like world changers, and the fact that I moved across the country from Cleveland to Los Angeles, that within itself is a chapter. But also, I'm speaking on the lessons that I've learned along the way, lessons on love, on hope, and healing. Like these are all of the different things. And then also lessons on faith. Any entrepreneur has to have a well of faith, because there is no straight line. It is like this every day.
Wake up and like, why in the world am I doing this?
Man. And so for me, I listen to audiobooks all the time in order to help fuel me. And I realized, and this is something my mother also said to me, it was like, you live a really amazing life, almost like how Forrest Gump he was just living his life, but he was like around all these amazing people and did these amazing things. And so I wanted to, I knew I was going to write a book, but I felt like, now that I'm 40, what better time to start sharing, some of the lessons that I've learned and some of the things that some people may not know about, my life and what I've been able to achieve up to this point, in hopes of inspiring someone else who is like me, who may be feeling like giving up on a business idea, or that the work that they are doing is not valid or necessary. Like, this book will inspire you to keep going, because I've faced those same types of issues in my life: the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the betrayal from people you thought were going to be with you to the end, that turn their back on you when you get just a little taste of success. Like, I talk about a lot of that, and that's something I feel like not a lot of Black people talk about, is how do we cope with success when you're the first one in your family to go to graduate from high school or college, or the first millionaire in your family, or the first one to really see your dreams come to real life. Like, we don't really talk about everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with that. And those are some of the things I talk about in the book.
As you're writing the book, has there been a particular section of your life where you're like, I'm kind of struggling to kind of share this with everybody? Is there?
Yeah, there's two chapters in the book that are a little bit, like, I'm definitely going to share them. But the process of writing them was definitely, it was hard, to write about it. One of them was dealing with a miscarriage. My wife and I, we've been trying to get pregnant for like 6 years now. And last year we got pregnant, and we told our parents and we told our family, and we were so excited, to finally have gotten pregnant. And shortly after, like at her third OB appointment, we found out that the pregnancy was non-viable. There was no heartbeat, and so we lost the baby. And so rewriting that chapter, or writing that chapter, that was definitely painful. But at the same time, I'm also doing it because when that happened, I didn't really find a lot of resources for angel dads. There's all kinds of things out there for moms, whether they're angel moms or they're just moms. But it takes two to create a child.
I'm emotionally invested in this whole process as well.
Yeah. And so I wanted to share my story in hopes that any other father who has lost their baby, and it's crazy to think about. Like, I never got the chance to meet my child, and they're gone, and so that's something I have to live with for the rest of my life, regardless of if we get pregnant, have another baby, whatever the case may be. The first one, baby Green, is gone. Will always live on with us, but is gone. And so I wanted to share that story. And then the other chapter is talking about friendship and friendships that I've lost. Friends that I've known for 20 years that are no longer in my life. And that was difficult for me to write about. But again, it's me telling the truth. Like, it is lonely at the top is not just a catchy phrase. True. It really is lonely at the top, and in a lot of ways. And I also have a song on my album called Lonely at the Top. And in a lot of ways, like, one of the things I say in the song is, I never asked God for these powers to turn my thoughts to things. He makes these seemingly insurmountable mountains my standard hills to climb. So for me, greatness just oozes out of me.
Yes.
It's just who I am. In the same way, greatness just oozes out of LeBron.
Yes.
Imagine being LeBron and no one else around you can relate to that level of excellence. It's an isolating feeling. So I talk about that in the book too.
Yes, it is. It can be lonely, and I think, tying in the whole hip hop thing and telling my age once again, I think one of the most important lessons I learned when I started off in college, MC Hammer was, taking off, and his crew used to come up on campus a lot. And then, like, shortly after he went bankrupt because he was trying to take everybody
Mhm.
with him, but
Mhm.
everybody around him didn't have his best interest in part.
Yep.
And that is a lesson that I've carried with my whole life, that you're going to lose people along the way. So
You are. You are. One of the things that the late great Nipsey Hussle said is circle gets smaller, everyone can't go. Like
yes.
that's the truth. And it's your path. God
Mhm.
carved out this path for you and you alone. Uh,
Yes.
and you have to follow your call wherever it takes you. And they say it's seasons. Friendships are seasons.
Seasonal. Yeah,
And some
seasonal.
seasons, they come, they're great while they're there, and then they end. You
Yes,
have to
sir.
keep going.
That's true. Serve the purpose. Let me move on
Hmm.
because, oh yes, I've taken it. Okay. Let me move on. You have an album, a new album that you're working on. And my first question is, well, wait, let me backtrack.
Hmm.
When will the readers, estimated time when the readers will be able to flip through the pages of the book?
I would say probably summer or fall of next year. This is my
Okay.
first time writing a book. So there's going to be a lot of rewriting and editing. And plus just figuring out how I'm going to publish it. Like it was one of those things. That's kind of how I am as an entrepreneur. Like you just like, all right, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to write. I'm just
We're
going to
gonna
write
make it
this book.
work. We're gonna
We're
make
going to
it
make
work.
it work. And I've got a good amount of friends that have written books, so I can go to them. But I'm thinking probably summer or fall of next year.
Working title yet?
Uh, the working title is Peeling Back the Layers, Lessons on Love, Hope, and Faith.
We'll keep our eye. Now let me get it. You are working on a new album that you've got coming out.
Yes.
Are you building off of? And let me say to the audience, you need to go. He has a plethora of music out there that you need to check out. But are you building off your previous work, or is this a whole new vibe?
This is basically where I am now.
Mm.
The title right now is Y'all Still With Me. I'm
Oh,
actually thinking about changing the title. But right now it's the question, Y'all still with me? Like basically it's been, by the time it comes out, it will have been 5 years since I put out an album. That last one, Coke Dealer, changed my life. And it got the Coke Dealer program blew up. We were on Good Morning America, The Guardian, like it pretty much any media outlet. And now in my life, I'm 40, so I'm older. I'm in LA. So I actually, am in Hollywood and
mm-hmm.
meeting some amazing people and doing some amazing things. It is a lot more expensive than Cleveland. So living with that. And I wanted to kind of catch up my listeners, my fans, to what's been going on in my life. I when I first moved out here, I stopped working on music. I just wanted to live.
Mm.
That kind of artist. I'm not like Drake. I can't just, day in, day out, just churn out records,
Mm-hmm.
and like, cause that'll leave you fatigued and the quality will be diluted. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I like to, like, I gotta live. I gotta do
Yeah.
a little bit of living. So I spent the last 5 years just really like living. And I have a lot to say. And there was a time where I felt like I wouldn't do any more music. And
Really?
yeah, I thought about, nobody's really listening to my music like that. Like, nobody's checking for Archie Green album. And the fires that happened here,
Oh, okay.
when the fires happened, and my wife and I, we live in Santa Monica, so we were very close to the evacuation zone. But, one of my favorite all-time hip-hop producers, Madlib, he lost his home and thousands of records that were never released. And so that for me was like, all right, man, if you still got something to say, you need to say it. You need to put it,
Yeah.
you need to share it with the world, because this is a gift that God gave you,
There you go.
to talk about your feelings or whatever on music. And it's really good music. And so I primarily worked with one of my best friends. His name is Amani Cove. He's a producer based in Cleveland. And he did a bulk of the production. The beats are incredible. And I did a little bit of production myself. But I talk about the miscarriage. I talk about, not dimming your light.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned the song Lonely at the Top. And then there's songs where I'm, as any rapper would, where I just talk my shit, and in efforts to like, for the listener to like to feel me, you know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
carry that same confidence with them on their daily walk. So there's something in there for everybody.
Okay. What do you like about being on stage? That terrifies some people. What do you like about performing on stage?
That's a great question. I think I love the way I'm able to just kind of black out. Like when I'm on stage and I'm performing, I feel free. Like
Mm-hmm.
almost like what Nina Simone said, like to really feel free. Like when I'm on stage, I feel free.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like there was a time where I was like super nervous and I would forget my lyrics. Like that's in the book too. Talk about my first ever performance. And I totally
You
froze.
nailed it. I was gonna say you nailed it, right?
That's definitely in the book. I put that in the book. Like, yeah, y'all. My first performance, which was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, I totally froze and forgot my lyrics. But as y'all can see, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned is, the F ups are gonna happen. They're gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your purpose. Your purpose
Mm-hmm.
is to share your message with the world. And it's just like a job, like anybody
Mm-hmm.
else, and so when I get on the stage, my job is to entertain. My job is to get the people into, what I'm, so it doesn't matter if it's 5,000 people or 50,000 people in the audience. Like I feel like I'm at home. It's one of the things I love about my life is being able to create something and that connects with total strangers. So yeah, that's what it is for me.
All right. So you mentioned that the first time on stage, you completely bombed out.
Yeah.
When it comes to your music, what you're working on now, and in personal reflection, do you see the personal growth and development in your music?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because like yesterday I listened to Cope Dealer again for the first time in a long time, and I listened to the new music like back to back, and I was like, wow, like the growth is crazy. Like
Awesome.
just the confidence, the subject matter, it's different because Cope Dealer wasn't about just me. Cope Dealer was for PDLB, it was for
Oh,
Black men looking for healing. Y'all still with me is me. Like I'm not doing this for anyone but myself. And
mhm.
hopefully, the listeners really connect with it and it's something that they can take with them wherever they go. But I had to get back to me, the inner child that when he was a kid wanted to be a big rap star. And now, like, I literally am in the city where all these rap stars I idolized as a kid, like, they live here. Like, I've met
Mhm.
some of them. So, like,
Mhm.
it's just, so I wanted to catch everybody up with that. And I
Mhm.
feel like it's probably the best music I've done to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when can we expect this one?
That'll also be summer, fall next year. My
Oh yeah,
hope
wait
is
so
that I'll be
long.
performing it live in my violin next year.
We gotta wait, but it'll be worth the wait. It'll be
It'll
worth the
be
wait.
work. Yeah, I'm probably gonna drop something before the end of the year
Oh,
because
give us a little teaser,
give y'all a
something.
little,
Give
it's
us a
because it's
little
been a
teaser.
while. I need to test the waters. My wife is one of my sounding boards. So like I played some of the music for her this morning. She loved it. And she's
Okay.
my biggest fan. So like, but she will tell me if it's
Okay.
not really hitting, she'll
She's
tell me.
not one of those Hercules, Hercules. Okay, good.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
She's my biggest fan, but it's because I'm good at what I do.
That's
She's
right.
not a
That's
big
right.
fan because I'm her husband.
That's right. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we'll get a little sneak preview. Okay, we'll wait. We'll be patient. Well, sir, before I ask you my random question,
Mhm.
you're doing so much amazing work, and so much more is coming out of you, and you're only 40. Um, what would you hope the legacy of Peel Them Layers back to be
Mhm.
10, 15, 20 years from now?
Wow, thank you for asking that question. That is something that I've been thinking about. Next year we will celebrate 10 years. I founded this organization in 2016, and next year is 2026. And so I've thought extensively about that. And I'm already starting to see, I mean, PDLB started in Northeast Ohio. We are now expanding to the state of Ohio. We've done work in New York. You're looking to branch out in areas like Atlanta, LA, of course. But we also have been in contact with a school in South Africa that heard about our Coke Dealer program, and they want to bring it there. You know, my goal with PDLB is to help as many Black men as possible from, from enacting harm on themselves or on each other, to give as many Black men the tools that they need to live a mentally healthy life every day. And this is something that I, as a Coke dealer, I practice every day. I have my mantras, I have my affirmations, I have my meditation, I have my physical activity, going to the gym. I do everything. And so there are so many Black men that need that same equipment. And I want PDLB to be one of the providers of that equipment for men, as many Black men, and not just in the US, but anywhere around the world. So that's what I see my legacy. I've already cemented my legacy just within the first 10 years, everything that we've been able to do. I think the biggest achievement was getting on Good Morning America as part of their 50-year anniversary of hip hop, like to be cemented as part of the first 50 years.
Awesome. You good boy.
You know, like it's crazy. So like I've done that. So now it's like, and I'm also looking to bring on new leadership within, specifically in Cleveland, so we're going to be bringing on a new executive director to primarily focus on our efforts in Northeast Ohio next year. And I'm going to continue to focus on expanding, scaling the work that we do.
Okay. One more thing. Did I read that the Coke Dealer program is something that you can train others to run and insert? Is that part that I said it? Okay.
Yes. So we do have a Coke Dealer facilitator training program. Okay, so if you are a provider, if you are an educator, if you are someone that works with Black and brown youth, you're looking to bring this program to your school, to your city, you can actually reach out to us. We do have a training program. You become a licensed facilitator. So we give you a Coke Dealer facilitator license, and you can basically take the program as well as the resources that we provide. We actually did our first training cohort in the birthplace of hip hop, Bronx, New York, a hospital, as part of the SNUG program, which is a statewide gun violence prevention program in the state of New York. We worked with a hospital there that works with youth. So they are facilitators. They're trained Coke Dealer facilitators. And so, yeah, we are definitely, anyone who is looking to learn how to be a Coke Dealer facilitator can reach out to us at pdlb.org.
Training the troops.
That's it. That's it. It's not enough. We need more.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Let me ask you my random question here.
All right. I'm ready.
Let's see what I got here. I got my readers on here. What is the most useful thing your mom or dad has taught you?
Wow. I mean, I think the first thing and the most powerful thing that comes to mind is to love God, is to pray. I feel like I have the strongest relationship with God now that I've had my entire life. And that is in part what my parents instilled in me, to have a relationship with God, to pray, to read the word. I read the word daily. I talk to God daily. And I know that was something that both my parents, my dad used to be a Sunday school teacher. My mom also had she had a worship group. And I think it's primarily just how they've lived their lives. I mean, my mom is a 30 30-year breast cancer survivor. 30 years. It has not come back in 30 years. That's nothing but God.
Yes.
And she to every moment she gets, she just turned 70. Every moment she gets, she thanks God.
There you go.
And so for me, it's like that's the example that I needed,
Mm-hmm.
in order to maintain. I have a bracelet on my wrist that my mom gave me when I was in college, and it's Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And I live by that.
And lean not to your own understanding.
Lean not to your own understanding. I live by that scripture.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I would say the most useful gift that my parents blessed me with is my relationship with God.
There you go. I got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just so I make sure that I'm being respectful.
Sure.
Omega Psi Phi Fraternity
Yes.
Incorporated. When did you become Omega Man, and where did you become an Omega Man?
I was initiated in 2008 at Zeta Omega chapters, graduate chapter in Cleveland, Ohio. So, rude to the bruds.
There you go. All righty. Well, so tell us how we connect with you, get involved in the I got 5 on it, I got 100 on it, I got 500 on it, how we keep our eye on the lookout for the book and the music. Just tell us how we reach out to you.
Yes, so you can follow me on socials, on Instagram and X. It is at @the_cope, COPE_dealer. You can also follow Pilgrim Layers Back on Instagram at Pildim, DEM, Layers Back. You can learn more about our programs. You can reach out to us through our website, www.pdlb.org. And if you're trying to hear some really great music, just look up Archie Green on any of your streaming platforms. I thank you. And you can also support the 100 by 100 campaign, which is ongoing through November 1st on our website, www.pdlb.org.
Awesome. Well, little old me, your auntie, is so very proud of you. So very proud of you. Just amazing work. I want to let you know that I know it's no easy feat to stay committed to being a servant. Some days you wake up and say, "Oh, these people, people." So I am so grateful to you to be committed to the work that you're doing. It's so needed. It's so impactful. The legacy that you will leave is not what we see right now, but it will come for years and years to come. I just appreciate you, and I know so many others appreciate you besides my little small voice. So thank you for what you're doing, what you're putting into this world. Continue the good work, and I'll keep my eye open for everything.
Thank you, Lana, and thank you again for highlighting the good work that Black men are doing, for holding space for us, for giving us our flowers. One of the things yesterday that also happened at the Healing Circle at the end, she gave each of us a rose. So that doesn't happen very often. So to follow it up with this really means a lot. It warms my spirit because it can feel like a thankless job sometimes. And so to be affirmed by aunties like you, I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Keep doing what you're doing so I can keep on doing what I'm doing. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Black Men Matter series on The Male Perspective. This podcast is an initiative of Conversations in Color, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to uplifting Black voices. Make sure to check out our website, conversationsincolor.org, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms. We'll see you on the next episode.